Hi, teammates. This is Sean J. McCall, and as usual, I am your host for this edition of the Eurostep, where we try to look behind the scenes of European basketball, not just European basketball, but basketball all around the world, and try to give you, the viewer, some insights to my guests, their lives, and what they do, which is usually centered around basketball. So I'm really excited. I'm not going to say a whole lot right now. I'm ready to get right into this interview because it's been a long time coming. But before I start, make sure you look at the bottom of the screen in the comment section. You can write a question in there during the live, and I'll try to get it in there. Or if you don't want anybody to see it except for me, you can click on the question mark with the speech bubble around it, and only I will see that, and I will also occasionally check that and try to get those questions in as well. So enough of me running my mouth. Rob Geier is the guest for tonight for this episode, and he's someone that, although I haven't met him personally, he's somebody that I really respect. I've been following him for a while, and I respect his passion. I respect his grind. I respect the fact that he's left his home country to go somewhere else for his passion. And so we're going to talk about his coaching journey, of course, how he started, and things like that, and then work our way over to what he's doing now. So without further ado, let's get him on in. Make sure I got this right. Yep, he's Instagram is kind of funny these days. And yeah, there he is.
Did it work? Yes, sir.
Rob, what's good, man?
What's good, man? Thanks for having me, my guy.
Hey, I appreciate you taking the time out and coming on, man. This has been a
Absolutely.
long time coming, so thank you for being patient with me while I got everybody else out the way. And now you're finally on, so I appreciate it.
No, man.
So
thank you for having me.
We're gonna jump right in there. Just introduce yourself briefly. We're gonna go through everything anyway, but just introduce yourself briefly, and then we're gonna get into it.
Yes, sir. My name is Rob, 31 years old. Basketball trainer now with the National Basketball Academy here in Tampa. Not in Orlando, not in Miami. I'm in Tampa. Beautiful. Yeah, man. Just moved here in 2021. Was born and raised in Germany. Started playing basketball when I was 9 years old. Fell in love with it and never put the ball down. And then started my coaching career. I think it's almost like 9 years ago now. Quit basketball as a player. Started my coaching career. Been blessed enough to be all over Europe with it. All over the under 14, EYBL, under 15, Adidas Next Generation, Spain, Budapest, Hungary, Slovakia, you name it. And now I'm finally here.
Good. All right. We're going to get into all of that and unwrap all of that. Let's start with your beginnings. You said you started playing basketball at 9.
Yes.
Did you do anything before that? Were you a typical German guy playing soccer first, and then you kind of went with somebody to a basketball court and, okay, I love basketball now? How was it for you?
Yeah, of course. As every German kid, I started out playing soccer. I was a goalie, and my uncle back then was my first coach. And I got hit in the face twice, like a straight bullet, straight to my face. And I told my mom, nah, that ain't for me.
I'm good on that.
No, I'm not doing that for longer. So then my doctor, since I got a hunched over back, my doctor gave me the assignment to do a sport that actually stretches my body. And it kind of happened by accident. He gave me the choice between swimming and basketball. And yeah, that was a no-brainer for me.
And so then you started, where did you start playing at? What city?
I started playing in Gelsenkirchen. It's part in the Western, like everybody knows Schalke, the soccer club. Exactly. Yeah, I started off in a small, really, like compared to a rec team here. It's really like a small club, and yeah, it was just a hobby twice a week, but then a year after getting into basketball, I did my first camp as a player, and yeah, since then, man, that was my
man. Basketball has a way of sucking you in. So I realized that as well, because I just agreed to start coaching a under 14 team again. I haven't coached in some years, and they need help with the club team here, and they need help with coaches. And they've been asking me for a while, and I was like, no, for like 10 months, and now the bug got me back.
Can't say no forever. I know that.
It's just sucking me back in. Is you just
Yeah.
can't get rid of it. And
It's a
basketball
beautiful
is
age
home.
group though. Under 14 is a beautiful age group.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit you up later after this because, man, I've been out of the game so long. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know what
I
under
got you.
14 means. I mean, I'm sure I'll get it, but I, I hit up your guy Kurtle. My guy
Oh,
Kurtle. We'll talk about
yeah,
Kurtle
yeah,
later.
yeah.
But I hit him up and I was like, "Yo, Kurtle, I need some help, man. I need help." So, and we're gonna get to him in a minute too.
Yep.
So, you're now coaching, but of course you started out as a player. Was there a time when you were growing up in the German system when you thought maybe you wanted to coach, or did you have that dream of becoming a Bundesliga player or maybe an NBA player, or how was it for you?
No, I mean, as every kid starting off, my big dream was the NBA. But I was always real with myself. I knew I was into it. I was working a lot. But at some point where I was like under 16, 17 years old, I would think something around that age group, I realized, man, I'm not doing enough. Like there are some kids out there working harder and there's only 400, 500 spots in the NBA. So let's see if what else I can do with basketball. And then I did start coaching with hoop camps back then. They invited me to travel with them all around summer, do kids camps with them. And that's where I really found the passion for coaching. And then I got invited to coach my school team. And then in the year where I stepped down from Pro B basketball, started playing in Regionalliga. My guy from Schalke, Heiko Skiba, he brought up the idea to do my coaching C license. And I was like, yeah, give me a try. And that's all she wrote from there. Like kind
How
of
old were you?
phased out of playing.
How old were
And
you when you? I'm sorry. How old were you when you got your C license?
when I got my C license, I was 23 because in the same year I quit playing basketball in Pro B. I moved down to the southern part of Germany and started basketball as my full-time career. And the club that I was with, they gave me the chance to get all the coaching license I needed. And yeah,
See,
so I was 23.
We're going to talk about the coaches. I had that written down for later, but we're going to go into the coaching licenses right now because,
Yes, sir.
of course, the coaching system or the system in Germany, period. They don't just let anybody coach, especially kids, and also pros. But so they have a license system, which I don't think they have in the States, right? I mean, pretty much anybody can coach anything back home. So and I think that's a big difference between America and Europe in general, because every country in Europe has their own kind of license requirements. So basically the C is the one that you kind of enter. Kids, that's like 16-year-olds get that when they want to start coaching an under 12 team. That's like the very basic one. It doesn't cost a lot. You just have to go through your state federation to get permission. You go on a weekend, you watch a coaching clinic, and that's pretty much it. So it's pretty basic. But then when you move up to the B. The B is, then for B you can coach all youth teams.
Yeah, you can coach NBBL, JBBL, and all the way up to Pro A. Right.
So for those of you that don't know, NBBL and JBBL is pretty much a professional league for youth teams.
Yeah.
It's incredibly well run, organized, stats, video, everything, things like that. So it's on under 16 and under 19, and you are also allowed to coach Pro B.
All the way up to Pro A. For BBL, you need the A license, but with the B license, you can coach all the way up to Pro A. Yes.
So and then comes you do the B license, and the B license cost is not cheap.
That's a heavy chunk.
It's a pretty nice chunk of change, right?
Yes.
So they kind of weed out those that are serious about it from the C to the B. Now the A license, with the A license, you can literally coach everything from first league down.
Yep.
And also national teams.
Yep.
I have an A license. Technically, I could coach the German national team, but I'm never going to coach the German national team. But that's also a pretty penny, right? So they weed out the people, and the requirements for the B and the A are very strict. So you've got to really put in the work, and then they put you through the paces. You're gone for like a weekend. Or longer actually for the B and longer for the A, and you got to go to coaching clinics. You got to do a test, both orally and not orally and on the court.
On the court, yeah.
Where they give you like a theme, a topic, and then you got to do it like right
100%.
away.
Yep. You get a demo team. You don't know who
You
It's just like,
you got like a
on the
practice
spot.
squad, which is usually youth teams.
Yeah.
You never practiced with them any before, and then you got to go out and perform. And I think that's hella dope. I think that putting you under that pressure weeds out a lot of terrible coaches.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that. But of course, just because you have an A license doesn't mean you're a good coach.
No, 100%.
But I think that's the difference between American ball and German or
Absolutely.
European ball. What do you think about that?
No, I love the licensing system there's over there in Europe. Like, this is something to me that's missing here. Like, there's a lot of, I don't want to say there's a lot worse coaches here, but literally everybody, as you said, just can't come over here and start their own AU program or start coaching high school. Doesn't have to have a basketball background. And that's the main difference I see. Yeah, so I'll tell you what, like, the quality of basketball, maybe it's because I'm here in Florida, like the way the lack of fundamentals they teach, the understanding of the game, just the whole flow is a whole lot different than what I see from back home. My first couple of high school games that I watched over here, golly, I felt like back in the States, and it's starting.
What do you think about the whole AAU program, how it's progressed? Because I'm old as dirt, but I was like one of those players where AAU first started. So I see the difference between, like, it was like grassroots back then and how it's become business now. My first AAU team, I'm from Vegas, and we went to Phoenix, we went to California, and that was pretty much it. We got a lot of exposure in those games. We were sponsored by Nike. We were one of the few teams in the state that were sponsored by Nike. It was really like grassroots. It was really about getting kids scholarship to be seen. It wasn't about the coaches. It was like my high school coach was our AAU coach for the whole city. Like, it was crazy. It's nothing like today. But it's grown massively. It's a huge business. I think every business has its right to flourish, but me personally, I think the AAU system stinks. But how do you compare the German system of coming up through the German system compared to American high school, maybe AAU, and then going on to college?
Oh, it's different. Like, in Germany, the kids are with their whole program the whole year.
Yeah.
Like, they have one program they commit to, and they get their individual workouts. They get their summer grind in. Like, number one, the seasons are way longer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm coaching right now. I'm working with some high school and college kids and trying to prepare them for the season. Like, they have tryouts in October, and their season doesn't start before November. Yeah. And the high school kids are done in February, March. Like, that's a super short season, so they need AU. There's a need of that for sure. Is it a business more than a basketball development platform? I would say yes. I would heavily lean into that. My academy, the TMBA, we are not affiliated with Under Armour, Nike, Adidas. We are independent, and there's a big talent gap. There's a big money gap also. When you see all the Nike teams, Adidas teams, they travel. There are some teams that just recruit all over Florida. They never practice together. They just meet up for tournaments and play. So we are one of the few teams actually that we have team practice twice a week, and we're trying to do we call it the right way for us. Obviously, there is no right or wrong way. Everybody handles it differently. But for us, it's like we want to build something like a team culture. We have 2 90-minute team practices, Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we have between February and July, we play up to 10 tournaments.
Wow.
And also, that's a big difference. Like, in Europe, you play for a whole season. Like, you see the same kids every day, and you have that big goal in the end, winning that championship.
Yeah.
Whereas to AAU basketball, you got to refocus your mind every week, every tournament, because you don't know how many games you're going to play. There's like a 3-game, 4-game guarantee. If you don't perform on Saturday, you're not going to play on Sunday.
Crazy.
And there's no bigger goal. The bigger goal, obviously, is the scholarships.
Right.
Like, everybody, there's so many kids that want to get these college scholarships. And that for me was eye-opening to see how many kids are out there fighting for the same spots. It is incredible. It's like the same grind for the coaches is a grind for the kids too, man. It's not easy.
Has AAU ball made high school ball irrelevant?
Ooh, this is a hot topic, because I have this conversation with my boss a lot. now with all those other programs popping up, like the OTE, being AU, the Open G League, they get younger to the G League. Like, some kids chase the overseas year because they can't go straight from high school to the NBA, so they want to. It's hard. It's definitely going there. I don't think it's ever going to be completely irrelevant, but you can see that the quality of the high school basketball, especially if you stay regional, like Tampa area, the different counties,
Right.
it's declining for sure. I see so many kids, like the top kids from our county, joining like big groups like IMG, DME Academy, Montverde, you name it. Like, they don't want to play locally, they want to play on the big stage. And there's nothing wrong with it. If you got
There's
that
nothing wrong with it.
talent and you're a highly recruited high school kid, why wouldn't you try?
Yeah. I agree. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, yeah, I think it's unfortunate that for high school kids, especially, that if they are not on a high profile AAU team, they kind of get lost in the shuffle. And also,
Yes and no.
no, yes, no,
Because
go ahead,
I saw some, like, back in July, we were in Atlanta
Yeah.
with my ninth grade boys in life period. And for those of you that don't know what life period is, there's certain times in the calendar year where college coaches can come out to tournaments and start recruiting, start contacting kids and parents. And we had that tournament in Atlanta in July. And I saw some kids on those teams. They were pretty nice. Like, even though they were not on the big Nike team, Under Armour team, like, there are some kids out there that are really like gems, and coaches are all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, Atlanta is the hotspot for recruiting. There's the Nike tournament, and you drive 20 minutes to the south, and you see the Under Armour tournament. Then they stop by another day in our tournament. We play with the best of the South hoop scene events. It's eye-opening, especially for my kids playing out-of-state teams. Man, we got crushed in the first couple of games. We play kids from Indiana or Alabama. It's different. Every state plays differently.
Yeah, it is. Let's go back to the German system of how you grew up.
Yep.
How do you compare it? Because you grew up in it,
Sure.
you coached in it, you know. How do you see the German system in the last, let's say, 15 to 20 years? How's the development been? I think it's been really good. What do you think?
No, I agree. Like, I was one of the first years that the NBBL existed. I got a chance to go, and back in the area where I grew up, it's not a basketball town, like basketball area. It's all soccer. Like, you see Schalke, Bochum, Dortmund, all those high major soccer teams, and there was no room for basketball. So having the Metropole Baskets, I was like one of the first kids to ever play for them. So that was big time for me growing up in that system and getting a taste of the big stage of basketball. And from there, I think it's blowing up. Like, you see by the success we had when we had the European Championship.
Yeah.
You know, I think we're in a good way in Germany. But it's also the coaches. I mean, I'm still big in the community, in the coaching community. I'm connected with all those guys. I've been blessed to meet with the BBL coaching program. Like, I'm still around those guys, and what they tell me, like, how it's growing up, the facilities change, infrastructure changes, talent level. They have so much more time now to dedicate for the kid. Like, it's growing.
Time and money.
Yeah.
Because it takes a financial investment.
Yes, sir.
That says, okay, we will develop our young players.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I think also when I coached compared to now, it's gotten much better. The talent level, and what a lot of people don't understand is how big the national team is for the development of the youth players. And you see it now, that the fruits of the labor that the BBL or clubs in general have invested in their youth players here in Germany, especially, and not just youth players, but also German coaches such as yourself. You just spoke about the BBL coaching program. I want you to talk about that in a second. But that's one of the big differences, you know, in the last years. They've really put a lot of time, money into, we're going to focus on developing our own players. And even in the top league, we're going to give them a chance to play. They're not just going to be what they call bus drivers who just sit on the bench. Yeah. Like when this is a crazy story. When I played in Oldenburg, this was 20 years ago. We had, I think, 3 German guys on the whole team. we had that was back when the Bosman thing was like, so you had people with passports, so it was kind of like unlimited passport. So we had me as an American with an Austrian passport. We had
I didn't think about that. Yeah, you got the
right. We
Austrian
had
passport.
we had so many Americans. We had Sean with he's American with a British passport.
Yeah.
We had Jens Uwe Gordon, who was German, but he lived in America but his whole life. We had who else did we have? We had Tyrone Castle, who had a Bosnian passport. We had we had somebody else, and we had our normal Americans. We had Tyrone McCoy. We had or foreigners. We had Pavel Bechka, who was a national team player for Czech Republic. We had Elvir Ovchina, who was a national team player for Bosnia. We had like 3 Americans or 3 Germans, like real Germans.
So many ways
to
work around
never played. They never played. They were bus drivers. They were just along for the ride, right? So, and that's the difference. You don't see that anymore. Of course, now in Germany, they have the 6 and 6 rule. You can have 6 foreigners from wherever, whatever nationality, Bosman, American. You can have 6 Americans if you want, but 6 game day players have to be Germans. And there's not so many neutralized Germans in the BBL, like Americans with a neutralized pass, or naturalized pass. So that's the kind of advantage that Germany, I think, has built on itself. Now, I'm sorry, I wanted to get back to the question of what you talked about, the coaching program. And I think that's one reason why German basketball has made a big leap. They're not dependent on foreign coaches, or in Europe, period. They're not as dependent on foreign coaches as they used to be. And one of those reasons why is, of course, the German, what the German First League does with their coaching program. Talk about that a little bit.
Man, that was a blessing. Like, I compare that to like a bachelor's degree in basketball. It was like 3 years, and back in the days when I did it, they had their own structure. You have to get invited and get like a scholarship from the team that you're working with. Luckily, I had Ludwigsburg right around the corner, and I've been in touch with them ever since I started moving and started coaching. And they gave me the opportunity. My youth coordinator back then, Timo Probst, he gave me the chance to participate in that, and it was a blessing. Like, learning from so many different mentors. You know my guy Steini. He was one of the people I still talk to. I saw him in Vegas in summer. Like, the relationships, the basketball knowledge we gained. I remember, this was Kudl and I, we always gonna talk about that, like how this whole mindset is gonna change. Like, when you surround yourself with basketball coaches for such a long period, sometimes you sit in the room and you ask, man, do I even know the game? And that was our first ever module that we had. We had like 4-hour workshop with Coach Thomas Pech from Berlin back in the days, and us 6 coaches, and they're sitting there and talking about defensive techniques. And we're like, what are we going to talk about? Defensive slides, turn steps. And it was not even hosted in the gym. It was like a regular room with a TV. We had a presentation. And instead of like showing us what to do, Coach Thomas just asked us questions the whole time. We gave him an answer, and his only answer was why. And then we trying to explain ourselves, and he said, well, why? And he was just sitting there for 4 hours asking us questions. And I remember us leaving the room, and we were like, do we even know the game? Why are we here? Why did we get invited? We had no idea what, like, our mind was blown. And having that, as you talked about, that pressure situation for 3 straight years, it was unbelievable. Back in when Franz Wagner was with the under-18 national team, they played their European Championship in Greece. So I got to follow them along I was there for the whole trip, kind of doing the video assistance, help the coaching staff out with the scouting, seeing top-level teams like Diabate, who's now in the NBA, Franz Wagner, Ariel Huporti, seeing them, watching them play when they were 16, 17 years old. That was awesome. It also entailed that we see each other's practices. So I go out and watch my boys' practices, and then we gave each other feedback. And we had that pressure situation when we had demo teams there, and that was by luck. We drew a topic, and we just had to give them a best practice of what we could do in like 20 minutes. And then we go into a room with our mentors and we got some feedback. So that was a great mix between sharing knowledge and being on the court, getting feedback. Communication skills are big. So much I learned.
So much that you learned.
And what made it even better for me, I was the head coach for the under 14 in Ludwigsburg, head coach under 15, and the assistant coach with NBBL. And then back then it was first Regionalliga. We're just on our way up. So this was literally like living the coaching dream. That was the perfect way for me to get started.
So for those of you that don't really understand what we're talking about, it's basically a 3-year internship where they send you to different camps. They send you to different teams to hospitalize, not hospitalize.
I get the same mistake every time, bro.
What is that word in English?
Observe. I don't even know how to explain that, man.
Well, you go visit somebody else, damn it. So different coaches and stuff like that. You have workshops. You have a whole lot of things. And for 3 years, and after these 3 years, what do you get? The B license?
Yeah. So I didn't have to go because I went through that. I got like the short route for the B license. I just had to spend a week there, and also there, like for right now, my coaching journey just feels like a blessing. I got to meet Yassine B. He was a German legend. Sydney Parsons, who's with the women's national team now. Derek Allen was my roommate. My boy DA, great guy. It's just a blessing. Everything was just falling into place for me, and I'm very, very grateful that I was able to get that run.
That's dope, man. So we're gonna I spent more time on that than I wanted, but actually, before I move on to that, let's go to the Dirk Nowitzki program that you've been a part of.
Yes, sir.
Campus 41.
Yep.
I think that's such a dope program. What he's brought to life for Germans, or for coaches, or people that want to be coaches and things like that. I don't think it's comparable to anything that anybody else is doing.
No.
And tell us about that, because I think not a lot of people know what that entails.
Yeah, even though it was hosted by Dirk's foundation and his sister Silke runs the whole thing, it was all away from basketball. So we had 3-week workshops, and it had nothing to do with basketball. It was all coaching, communication, getting to know yourself. We did like personality tests. It was just a beautiful experience. We had handball coaches, we had hockey coaches, we had a guy that teaches parkour, and we got in touch with so many different personalities. And what the beauty about and I saw Lewis's comment right now, Camp 41 campus. I met Lewis and Ködel, our boy. He was in my group, so he was in my class, and it was just a sense of intimacy, and it was okay to be the way you are.
Yeah.
Everybody was there and embracing each other, learning from each other. It's a great experience. I can only recommend that for any coach out there that lives in Germany, wants to be a part, learn more about yourself, communication skills, teaching skills. Doesn't matter the sport you're in, go sign up for that. It's amazing.
Do you get chosen for that, or you have to sign up? How did you get into that?
No, you actually gotta apply for it. And we're talking about pressure situation, like they make you apply with a video about yourself. And back then I felt so uncomfortable talking to a camera. So that was the first part. Like they make you grow as a personality. Like it's all the little things they put together is so much thought that goes into it. Silke and her team, they do a great job. Like every single step you take on the way has a purpose. It's
really like broadening your horizons, because we as coaches, we tend to do our stuff our way and kind of get tunnel vision, and things like that is something that can really open your horizon. I think it's so dope that he's.
And then the last part, I remember that, dude, man, I get the chills when I even think about that. So the closing parts of it is like every coach that comes here has to give a presentation of what the 41 campus means to him and what he learned. It got so emotional, man, when I tell you, like the social media person put the camera down, everybody was wiping on it. It got emotional, but that shows just like the intimacy we built in the group. It was all different coaches. It was a beautiful experience. If you really want to meet people like without any mask on, go do that. I can only recommend that. I can't speak highly enough for that program. And then getting to meet Dirk in Cologne 2 years ago when he visited us, when we had the community kickoff. seeing the way he is, like the humble person, like you know why he's doing the stuff he's doing, why he's doing so much for kids in the community.
Dope, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about my guy Kurtle real quick. I can't get away with.
Of course, he needs his part in that conversation.
So I saw he joined. He said he wasn't going to be able to join, but he's in. Just so you know, I don't know if he told you, but I coached Kurtle in the under-19s in BBL.
Yeah.
And Kurtle was one of the guys. I still talk to him to this day. I count him as a friend, even though I coached him a long time ago. He was one of those guys, and that team in Bayreuth that I had was amazing. By far my favorite team that I've ever coached. And he was a guy, he couldn't, when I first got there, he couldn't make a left-handed layup.
Not surprised at all. He still can't do it.
He still can't, but at least he has the technique now, and he's passing that on to others, and I think that's great. But he was a guy that would run through a wall for me as a coach and not ask what's on the other side.
Yeah.
I say, go guard that guy, because he was an amazing defender. Couldn't shoot for shit, couldn't make a left-hand layup, but he would get in your shit on defense. And I loved him. I loved him.
Probably trash talking to everybody on the court.
Yeah, and I'm a big trash talker too, so we just vibe. Like he was saying shit like on the court that I would be saying. I'm like, what is he doing? But
I see that.
Kurtle, you're my guy, man. Love you, man.
Much love for sure.
One of those players that I'll talk to my whole life.
Yeah.
You know. So moving on, you're moving to America. You had a pretty damn good job where you were at in Ludwigsburg. What was the motivation for you to move to the States? Was it something that you always wanted to do, or was it just the logical next step in your coaching process?
As I started out as a team coach, kind of all throughout the years, my interest switched towards the play development side, individual workouts, small group workouts. And as you know, the European culture is not embedded in the basketball culture yet. No. That was one of the big... It's growing. Yeah, we have like Coach Morris, who was with Ulm and now with Bayern, who was kind of like the pioneer in Germany when it comes to that. That was one thing. Then I got to admit, it was a lifestyle decision. Like when my contract expired, I didn't want to stay in Germany. For me, it was either Spain or Florida. And luckily, it became Florida. Number two, I really wanted to, it was like, I don't want to say reality check. I wanted to see if I'm really as good as I think I am. So when I moved here, I applied for the job in Orlando because the TNBA, like the academy I'm working with, they're based all over the country. They're in Milwaukee, in Houston, Indiana, and also in Orlando, where I met my coach, my boss that I have now, like 8 years ago. We ran a camp together for the Orlando Magic. And when I applied, I thought I was going to Orlando. First phone call we had, like he said, "Yeah, I'd love to have you, but you're not coming to Orlando with me." It's like, damn. Is he sending me to the cold Cleveland or what's going on? I don't want to live in Ohio. I signed up in Florida, man. I'm a beach boy. So he's like, how does Tampa sound to you? I was like, man, pretty good, but we don't have a team in Tampa. He's like, exactly. I want you to grow with me, build it from scratch. And when he said that, I was sold on the idea. So I wanted to see, am I really that good of a coach as I think I am?
Right.
Plus, I'm always looking for the next challenge. And coming here, starting from scratch. And when I mean scratch, I mean nothing. We had no gym to work out. We had no kids. We didn't run a single camp in the first couple of weeks. We were literally here the first 5 months building this whole thing from scratch. And I never had to do with it. Like in Ludwigsburg, I was just there. They hired me to be the best coach I can, right? Here, I got to be a businessman. I got to take care of marketing. I got to do everything to get kids in the gym and then be a basketball coach second. And on top of that, just the whole vision of being an individual coach or a player development coach, or whatever they want to call it, skills trainer, you know, which I'm big on. I'm not a skills trainer. I'm a development coach. And I think there's a big difference.
Okay. What's the difference? What's the difference?
But to me, like there's a lot of guys that work players out and they put them in front of cones and like tell them to do a move. For me, it's about player development, which all starts in our mind. Right? I sit down and have conversations with them. I give them homework to do, and their personality is not only the basketball part. It's really like the teaching part. It's not the fancy cone drills. which I think is all clown, but there's a whole nother topic. We can talk about an hour about that, right?
I got a question about that, but go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. It's player development to me is a 24/7 job. If they call me in the middle of the night and have to talk about something, I'm there for them. If they need me out there, like last weekend, I drove like 35 minutes away for individual workout in 100 degrees in burning sun, right? So if they need me, I'm there. And that's, I think, the difference between people that do it or have a transactional mindset in their business and just do it for the money, or a transform mindset, which I think I'm big on the transformative side. I want them to grow as a human being. If they end up in the NBA, if they become a high-level college player or not, I don't care. As long as they grow as a person, I'm the happiest man alive.
That's dope, man. That's the way it should. That's the way it should be. Now let's transition into that other part which you got into. I happen to be an old head, and of course, old heads think everything that's new is shit. So I'm not a big fan of the I don't know 900,000 skills trainers or whatever you want to call it, because I think it's a little bit misleading, and I think it's become such a big business that anybody's doing it.
Yep.
And what I have a really big problem with is that, especially with kids, it seems like their parents are pushing them. I don't know, but they're pushing them to do these skill stuff with the hopes that they land a big contract or something like that. That's number one. Number two is sometimes I think kids should not totally be specific in one sport or one thing or dedicate that much time. They got to be kids.
Yep.
They need to have other interests. And when you start specializing at a young age, they risk burnout. So I see a kid that are really great, talented and motivated, that are working out as much as they can, et cetera, but they're 16, and by the time they're 19, their knees are shot. I have that's my problem as a old man. What do you see about that development?
Man, just the way you're talking about it, I'm like, it's crazy because kids look at me, I got the tattoos and all that, I got the earrings, all that. They think I'm new school, but in my mind, I'm just an old head, just like you, right? You got to think about, like, when you see all those skills trainers on social media popping out, this is just the fancy workouts. You will never see a full workout of me in the gym. You will never see that. Because I don't do it for the cloud. I don't want to exploit my players. Of course, I'm going to help them social media wise to get recruited.
It's okay.
Like the whole Twitter thing, this is where all the recruiting goes out. Yes, I'm active there, don't get me wrong. But you will never see me with a camera in my hand in the kid's face while they're doing some 50% layups. Like, that's just not me, And when it comes back to the European mindset, the way I was raised is like raised on the basketball court, right? Is a whole different story to what they grew up here. Yeah. Number one difference that I can peep here, people don't want to hear the truth. Mm-hmm. They want to hear what they want to hear. Mm-hmm. Think about it. I had a kid quitting my program because I told him he has to step up his one-on-one defense.
That's pretty...
In the middle of the tournament, I never saw him back. Didn't come back for game 2. I'm like, all right. If that's the level we're at right now, okay, I will never change. I tell everybody at the beginning of the season, everybody who starts working with me, I'm not for everybody. Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. If you want to be coached, if you want to go through the pressure, if you want to get put through the fire, I'm there for you. If I want it more for yourself than you want it, I can't help you. I'm the wrong guy. Mm-mm. I'm the wrong guy. Like, I will push you. I got that all. One of my first coaches was Serbian. You know how they are.
Oh yeah.
You miss a left-hand layup, they cut out your whole family. They want to make you. No, they make you run laps, and then you miss the next left-hand layup, and they want to cut your head off because you missed the left-hand layup. Like, this is pressure. That's pressure. Like what we do here, man. I'm telling you that this is the biggest difference. The truth makes people take care. Yeah. Like you gotta be. This is the first thing I learned here. The way I communicate is different. Even if I want to tell them what I want to tell them, man, I gotta build that relationship first.
Like if I'm different.
Yes, if I go straight forward, the way we are in Germany, we are pretty straight, mostly.
Pretty direct.
Right? Exactly. Especially the way I was raised in the western part. Man, we were hard on us. Like, we say what we think. You know what I'm saying? Here, you can't do that. You rub people the wrong way, your business goes out like this, and in the heartbeat.
I mean, there's politics in every business, and
Unfortunately,
also
yeah.
here in Germany as well. There's politics with kids in NBBL, JBBL, no question. But I can imagine back home, it's crazy because okay, I haven't lived back home. I've lived overseas longer than I ever lived at home. I was 22 when I came over. I've been 28 years overseas, so I don't know a whole lot about what's going on. But I see it, I hear, I talk to people, stuff like that. But it's crazy because I just that kind of stuff turns me off, and I really have a problem with kids peaking too soon, you know.
Yeah, and back on the thing that you said with the 2 sports or 3 sports at the same time. I think that's a benefit of the US system.
Yeah.
Those middle school kids and high school kids, because they have different seasons, they can play multiple sports.
Yeah.
For me, the 3 best complementary sports for basketball, number 1, soccer, because it teaches them footwork, depth perception, thinking in schemes.
Yeah.
Tennis, because of the short sprints and lateral movements, eye-hand coordination.
Yeah.
And what 2 of my main guys that I work with the most do right now is swimming. They just started their swim practices. Takes a lot of pressure off your joints. You still get your stamina build up.
Yeah.
Conditioning is there, and you build your body. Like, they came back. They're going into their sophomore season now. First summer, when they went from 8th to 9th grade and they started swimming, and after the season, I saw them in the gym again. Man, they didn't need the weight room.
Bodies changed.
Yeah. Once they hit once puberty kicks in and they do the wrong sport, like it's the right sport, and they have a good program around them, they can blow up. I think multi-sport athletes always gonna be a little bit ahead of those kids that just solely focus on basketball. And last thing, what you mentioned, so many kids are overtrained and underplayed.
Hey, thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they train so much on air reps, on cone reps, and then you see them in the game and they have no idea what to do. I pride myself on decision-making drills, bones over cones, right? I have those 2 taglines, bones over cones, and I teach movements over move. You know, I don't care how many moves you can combine. If you can rub back and forth, you can drop your shoulders on the crossover. I don't need you to show me your 25 between the crossover. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So this is 2 biggest difference, like overtraining, underplaying, and just the lack of focus on the details, I see.
Let's move on to European basketball versus NBA. So as a student of the game, there's no comparison, but how can you, what are the parallels or the opposites maybe between the NBA game and the European game? We're talking EuroLeague. We're talking high-level EuroLeague and compared to NBA. Me personally, I can't watch NBA until the playoffs. Not going to do it. And actually, this season, I didn't even watch the playoffs at all. I didn't watch the finals. I didn't watch the Jets. Okay, time difference, one thing, but still, it just didn't interest me. EuroLeague, I'm going to tell you how much of a fan I am of EuroLeague. I pay for the telecom things.
EuroLeague, telecom, yeah, okay.
So that I can watch. That shit is expensive as hell.
I know.
If I would change my TV stuff to my Vodafone contract, I would save so much goddamn money. But no, I want to watch EuroLeague, and I'm willing to pay for that.
I feel you.
So for me, EuroLeague is incredible. And of course, best athletes in the world, NBA.
Yeah.
Best games, EuroLeague. What do you think?
Yes, I agree on it's hard to watch 90% of the NBA games before we reach the playoffs.
Yeah.
I really do. Like seeing that firsthand, no, it's different. Growing up, watching it on TV, it's the thing, you know?
Yeah.
Every kid grows up, I want to be there one day. Yeah. Going into an NBA game here, don't get me wrong, it gave me perspective on, man, I really want to be there one day. I want to sit on that bench, first row, like that's the goal, still.
Yeah.
Make it to the NBA, coaching, playing makes no difference. That goal hasn't changed.
Yeah.
From a student or the game perspective, the European basketball is way more like this is basketball. Like,
it's pure.
I don't I don't like, but you also got to see like the play idea is different. The idea of playing like here in the NBA is they give their ball to their best player. They have a couple of triggers like pistol action, flare screen, whatever, like quick triggers, and then they let them play from there. Compared to Europe, where it's like 5 different pick and rolls and pick down screen, then we got a twirl screen, all looking, it's all misdirection for the one pick and roll they're looking for. So you also got to see what basketball do you like. Do you like the free-flowing offense where it's like less structure and they just let the dominoes fall? Or do you really like the structure? Like, hey, this is the screen there. Then with 8 seconds on the clock, we are looking for that pick and roll because that defender is going to fall asleep because he had to defend 2 pick and rolls before that. That's European basketball. Difference. I also think the culture is a major, major difference. European basketball is centered around the coaches. Coaches are the stars in Europe. Here, players are untouchable. Untouchable. If Jelko Obradovic was here in the NBA, dude, he'll be back home in Serbia in 2 days. Like,
Gone.
Because he is not allowed to coach the way he coach. So it's, I don't want to say softer, but it's a change. Like Europe, coaches are the stars. If you see Jelko walking in on a home game in Partizan, dude, that's crazy.
Then you know. Then you know.
Then you know.
Then you know.
What I gotta say though, and I try to show my kids that I train here a lot of the videos with the crazy fans in Serbia and Greece and all that. They say, "Yo, coach, if I don't make it to the NBA, I'm gonna play there." That looked hella fun. It's like shit, yeah. That's like the fandom.
It's a different fan culture too.
Yes.
Let's be honest. It's a different. I would say I would compare European basketball, especially on high levels, but also your little Dorf club somewhere. With only 3,000 to 300 seats, it can be crazy in there, right? So, but that's the fan culture is one thing that stands out as being just totally different. But I compare the fan culture in America or in Europe to Duke.
Yes,
That's
comparable. Yeah,
those fans, those kind of fanatic fans. Once you played in Duke, North Carolina, or those big time programs and had those student sections talking shit to you the whole game.
Dude, there's even in the high school basketball games is like that. Their student sections go crazy on here. Bring their drums and like they have different outfits for every game. It's a party.
That's the comparison right there. So what is a typical day for you look like?
So as of right now, it's summertime, so my main focus is on individual workouts and group workouts. I live right across the street from the University of Tampa, so right now in the morning, I get my morning routine in, wake up, get my meditation in, read for a couple of minutes, do my yoga, and then I head over to the gym, get a couple of workouts in with some of the girls I train over there from the girls program. Then I come home, get some home office done, get my daily chores done, try around noon. I always try to get some study time in. I'm big on that, blocking 1 hour of the day just to read a book, find some studies online, just keep evolving, calling some other coaches, get some new input, right? And then afternoon time, I'm on my way to the gym. Right now, I've been blessed. I told you earlier, we had no gym at all when we first started. Now I have gym space 7 days a week. So luckily, 1.5 years later, now I can train players every single day. And that's basically what it is. Go to workouts, come home, eat dinner, hop on Synergy, clip some film for the players that I train, and go to bed around midnight, 4 a.m. Alarm goes off again. Same thing over and over again.
So hearing that, the question is not far away. Do you have a fucking personal life?
Yeah, I do.
Free. Coaches are free. That's there's no question about it. If you want to be a good coach, you got to sacrifice something. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So just like if you want to be a good player, but I think with coaching, it's more extreme. It's more extreme.
Yeah.
So do you have a personal life?
Yes. Like
are you able to shut it off?
Let's say like this. I'm not a rookie no more, moving into a new environment. So when I moved out of my parents' house in Germany, moving down to the southern part, it was the same structure. Like first year, you're completely new. You're the rookie of the town. Nobody knows you. You don't know anyone. It's just a strange feeling. You know what I'm talking about. And then year 2, you find your go-to gas station. You go to grocery store. For me, my go-to pizza place. I got to get my weekly pizza in. It's like now that I'm in year 2, I'm starting to have more of like a social life. Yeah, it's coming together. But I agree, the year, man, since I moved here 2021 till now, it was all basketball, all day, every day, 24/7, which is now still like majority of the relationships I built is through basketball. Like when I went to Vegas, I had one of my players with me who's trying to get a job overseas. I went on and had my coaching clinics all day. He had his camps, but we shared a hotel room. So those relationships are personal life and basketball relationships at the same time. Last week, I went out with 2 other girls I trained. Like we had dinner together. Like this is the relationships you build, which is you have 90% social conversations. It's always basketball, you know? It's always coming back to basketball. But
Yeah. Yeah.
coming here, and I mean, bro, it's Florida. Like right now, it's raining, it's pouring, but other than that, people are outside. You're always down to meet people. There are bars. I live right across the river, so like people are going for walks, walk their dogs. It's so easy to connect.
I've got one question that just came in
Yes,
from
sir.
Fred Blessing. What's the hardest thing for you mentally overall?
Wow. That's a tough question. I think the hardest thing mentally for me is to
Multifaceted.
say what?
That's multifaceted.
This is what I'm struggling with the most right now is that I lose touch to my people when we come back to social life, my people from Germany. So there's so many. I just had a great conversation with my mom the other day. I called her and I was like, Mom, I need some help. Because at the end, we're all fighting our own demons, right? Everybody, nobody can tell me they have their shit figured out.
Yeah.
It's a lie.
Yeah.
They can be, if you can be 30, 40, 50, you're always battling some demons in here. Nobody has everything figured out.
Yeah.
So what me personally I'm struggling with right now is staying in touch and staying on top of all the relationships that I built in Europe over the years, while building a business from scratch here, while battling the time difference, while being in basketball 24/7. Like when you know how it is with your business right now. You wrote your book, you on the IG shit every day, you know, you get caught in your own rhythm,
Yeah.
and it's hard to break out of there and take time for the people that brought you to where you are.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
my boy Fabi, February 1904, he just put the German flag in the chat. Like this is one of my longest friendships, and I feel bad because I wasn't able to reach out to him for like 5 months straight now. But then when I open up my computer, I got 60 messages here because nobody uses WhatsApp over here. Everybody's regular text message, right? So I got 60 messages on one app. Then we got an AU group chat thing, which is blowing up. And then WhatsApp from all the European people go up. I ain't gonna lie, I'm doing not exaggerate. It's like 400 text messages a day, plus emails and work and phone calls. And sometimes when I open WhatsApp now, I got 80 open chats that I have to get back to. This is the hardest part for me.
Yeah.
And the only person I really talk to on a weekly basis is my mom. So I'm trying to get this conversation in. But this is the hardest part for me. Leaving all those relationships at home, trying to stay on top of that while building a business, building new relationships, and everybody wants a piece of you. You know what it is, friendship, relationships, players, coaches relationship. As soon as you open up yourself, you give everybody a piece of you. And keeping that puzzle together, that's the biggest struggle I have right now.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. And I still struggle with it today. I mean, I've been living in Europe 28 years, and you would think that in 28 years I would have a lot more visitors, things like that. And sometimes even with family, it just kind of falls by the wayside. It's nothing bad, it's nothing mean, it's just the way it is. Everybody's got their life, and it's hard to, even though yes, today there is more communication. You can FaceTime somebody, but you still have the same amount of hours in a day.
That's what I'm saying. Like you got to think the time difference. Like when I wake up in the morning, it's already halfway gone. Everybody in Germany is halfway done.
Yeah.
So when I'm done with my morning routine, I get out, done with my workouts, I come home for my first coffee. It's 9 a.m. here. Everybody else is getting ready for dinner in Germany. Yeah. So I can get at least, at maximum, 1 or 2 phone calls in, which I got to sneak in with WhatsApp video while I'm driving to the gym. It's like the typical American style, right? Everybody is video calling while they're in the car. And then when I get out of the gym, everybody else is already asleep. And then that whole cycle just restarts. And And you know how it is. You don't get back to a message one day, it slips down. Now it's number 25, it slips down again. And as you said, it's nothing mean. I tell people all the time, just call me. Because, like, you know how it is. You get so caught up, you're in your routine. Sometimes just a call from a friend that gets you out for an hour of your routine is so relieving. I have one player that started with me in under 12 in Germany, who now is a high school player in Indiana, who just made his move. So he followed my footsteps. And every time he calls me, he starts with, yo, do we have 5 minutes? And then we start laughing because it's never a conversation that's less than 90 minutes. Never. But every time we hang up the phone, I'm so grateful that he just called me. He's one of the few people I have in my circle, and it's crazy. He's a high school kid. He's going into his junior year. He's half as old as I am. But he's one of the people who always reaches out, calls me, and these conversations I value so much because he reminds me that there's a life outside of basketball.
That's a very important phrase to end it. Now I've got kind of 5 phrases or short kind of answer things for you.
Yep.
You know the game Kiss, Kill, or Marry?
Yep.
Okay, we're not going to play that. We're going to play with, play against, win a title against. So you can choose anybody, any player, whatever generation. Who do you want to play with? Who would you have liked to play with? Who would you have liked to play against? And who would you have liked to win a title against?
All time, yeah?
Any generation, any player alive, dead, doesn't matter.
I would love to play with MJ, because obviously he's the GOAT. You want him as your teammate. I would like to play against Kobe because I'm competitive as shit. I want to see what the two greats can do. Win a title against? Ooh, that's a tough question. I gotta go with LeBron on this.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Also, jetzt reden wir Deutsch.
Oh, okay.
And then this, if you don't understand German right now,
it's not for you. I'm sorry.
Scheiße.
Right?
Scheiße.
That's actually the first word my boss said to me when I entered the airport. Scheiße, you were here.
Yeah, it's always the first German word you learn. You always learn the curse words before you learn anything in English. So, also, jetzt wird Deutsch gesprochen.
Ja.
Was vermisst du am meisten von Deutschland?
Meine Leute. Die Menschen um mich herum, mein Circle, meine Kindheitsfreunde, meine Basketballfreunde und meine Familie. Meine Eltern, Großeltern, ja.
Wer ist dein Basketball-Goat?
Keine Frage. MJ.
Thank you. That's good because if you would have said anybody else, I would have accepted Kobe. Or if you said anybody else, I would have just clicked this X right there. And you would have been going. So
MJ is Kobe, and then there's nobody in that conversation.
My man. What has basketball given to you? Let's switch back to English. What has basketball given to you?
I got to think about that for a quick second.
No problem. We got time.
It's given me the platform to express myself on the court and now off the court. It's given me a platform to chase my dreams, impact a whole lot of lives, and build relationships that last for a long lifetime. And that's what I'm most grateful for.
Good. Last one. It's your choice. Dream job.
I think I got it. I'm a player development coach first.
Dope.
Like, I want to be the coach that I wish I had when I was playing.
So that is incredible. That's a great answer. That is a great answer.
Yeah. If I had a coach like that's my main goal. Everything else comes to it. All the sacrifice, all the reading, everything that comes with it has that main goal. I want to be the coach that I wish I had when I was playing.
That's one of the best answers I've gotten for that question. That's dope. That's dope, man. So, man, we done.
Done.
Hour went by quick.
For sure, man. It felt like 10 minutes. We just started.
Hour went by quick, man. I'm very grateful for you coming on, man. I'm very grateful for you to explain your journey, the processes that you've gone through, your struggles, and be really open about everything. And I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
This is the power of the internet. You and I probably would have never met hadn't it been for the internet. If you use it the right way, you get connections. You learn from people that you probably wouldn't have ordinarily. Maybe our paths would have crossed because the basketball world is anyway super small.
Yeah.
But that's why I really enjoy doing this, because I get to meet people that I didn't
100%.
or ordinarily.
Man, that was a good conversation, man. Thank you for having me. That was awesome.
I appreciate you, my guy, and we'll be in touch anyway, because I my old ass, I need some help with under 14.
For sure. I got you. I got you.
So I'm gonna hit you up. So I appreciate you, man. Get on up out of here. I'm gonna say goodbye to everybody else.
Yes, sir.
Get on my.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Later. So everyone, another great episode in the books. I'm really thankful for that one. It's been a long time coming. We should have had this conversation a long time ago. But I'm glad we had it now. Everything happens for a reason. Maybe one of you will understand maybe the German system a little bit better from what we talked about. And also, follow your dreams, man. He left a very comfortable position here at home, took a chance, went to a place, got a job, didn't have a gym, and now step by step everything is working out for him, and that's pretty dope, man. That's it for me. Next episode will be on Monday, and I'm pretty sure I have 2 next week. I'm not sure, but I got some really dope guests coming on. I'm really impressed. Give myself a pat on the back with some of the people that I've pulled lately. So I'm really excited for the next ones. I'm excited for everyone, but I hope that you will tune in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, whether you were here for 1 minute or for the whole hour. And as usual, I hope everyone in your area, your family, your friends is doing well. And I hope to see you next week, next Monday. And hold it out.